Hey, Mr. Watson here. What we're doing for our lab today, battery testing. It's a very common test, something you need to understand how to do. So here's the slide for it, and interested on the slide is the particular types of batteries that we will be testing out today. These are the batteries used in various robot competitions, and here they are. First battery, the biggest one. This is from First Robotics Competition. It is the standard battery used to power First Robot Competition robots. Next one. This is a modified drill battery. And that's modified it went from the standard plug to this, a plug-in connector. And we use these in the BattleBots competition in the heavyweight, the pro class. Next battery. This is a smaller battery. This is from a VEX robot. So is the one over here. So these are two VEX robots, a BattleBot battery, and a First Robot Competition battery. What we're going to use to test them, standard Fluke multimeter. Before we get to testing them, let's talk about some facts about batteries. Batteries have a couple of properties. And what the properties are is their ratings. Then you have two ratings. You have amp hours and voltage. The amp hour is what the actual storage capacity, how much the battery stores. And typically, the bigger the amp hour rating, the bigger the battery. Shouldn't be much of a surprise there. So here's a little thing on amp hours. It really is simple. If you have a battery rated at 1 amp hour, what it means is with it fully charged, you hook it onto a load that pulls 1 amp. The battery should be good for 1 hour before it goes dead. Other ratings, it said sometimes the batteries are rated in milliamps, which is a thousandth of an amp hour. So if you have one that's rated at 1,000 milliamp hours, well, that's the same as 1 amp hour. If it's rated at 100 milliamp hours, that means it's 1/10 of an amp hour. Pretty simple. The other rating is voltage. Voltage is the force property. So the more voltage you have, the more it can push. But voltage alone does not determine the battery's size. Really, the amp hours tend to determine how big the battery is. The voltage just determines how much push comes out of it. So let's get to testing batteries. So to test them, we're going to take the multimeter, put it on DC volts, and we got the 2 meter leads here, and it's really easy. You got on these connectors, you got a red wire, you got a black wire going into the connector. So you match the meter lead colors going into the connectors. Match those colors. And you get them in there. And here's this VEX battery, and we're reading 7.62. That's on that one. Let's do this other VEX battery. This one's actually a little bit bigger. And so we got it hooked in here, and this one's only reading 1.9 volts. 1.9. Then we're going to go over here. There's our BattleBot battery, the 18-volt drill battery. Get those in, like that. Okay, so I get a connection on this. And look at this one a little more. Oh, I gotta make a connection, and look at this, 0 volts. I do believe I have a Battery, I should tell you this battery is 20 years old. So after 20 years, it finally died. It's okay, we don't have the big BattleBots anymore, so we're not doing that, so I don't need it. Okay, finally, I got the probes in the connector of this robotic competition battery, and look at this, it's reading 12.8. So once you got the voltage readings, I said for doing this lab, you write them down on the lab sheet, the type of battery, what you got for voltage. Next thing you got to do is, well, what's the real status of the battery? Okay, in the one there I got 0 volts. That's pretty obvious, that's bad. Well, what if they're not? We on that 12-volt battery, we were reading 12.8. And 7.2-volt battery, we were reading 7.6 on one and 1.4 on the other. So here's how you really tell. So here's the information for the 3 battery types. The 7.2s, fully charged, they should read 8.2. That's 1 full voltage higher than the battery's rating. So I got one of them that's reading 7.6. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's not discharged, but it's not fully charged. It's really about halfway there. The other one, where I'm reading 1.4 volts, well, that battery has gone bad. It's completely shot. The 12-volt battery, I'm reading 12.8, and there's this. Fully charged, they read 13.6. Normally, on car-type batteries, when they're fully charged, they should read 15% over what the voltage rating is. And that, if you take 1.2 and add it to 12, I said, then you get 13.2. You add another 0.6 to it, I said, and you get 13.8, but they never really quite get there. So 13.6. So this battery, it's charged, but it's not fully charged. I got my last one, the 18-volt battery. That should read about 20.5 volts. If it read the rating, 18 volts, it would need to be charged. It's less than 15 volts. In fact, it's reading 0. So I can tell you the future of that BattleBot battery is it's already recycling. But that's essentially how you do the lab today. Have a great day.